The United States is the world's most prosperous economy.
Students lining up for lunch next week at Warwick Public Schools in Rhode Island won't all be served equally.
The lunch lady didn't say anything, took away my cheesy breadsticks and sauce, put them over there, and took out bread, cheese on bread.
Any student with unpaid lunch debt will be given a sun butter and jelly sandwich instead of the option of a hot meal.
My mom or my dad can't afford to pay for my lunch. Why should I be restricted from pursuing my passion?
That the unpaid lunch bills can result in them being taken to dependency court and possibly their child being removed from their home and placed into foster care.
No child should go to school hungry or be shamed. Every week there are news stories across this country, which is the richest country in the world, may I add, where kids are left hungry, punished and shamed over student lunch debt.
Students who fell behind $10 or more were only given a tuna fish sandwich, are barred from attending field trips and school functions.
And if a family, forgets to pay or is struggling and having a hard time making ends meet, then they can fall behind in their school lunch debt.
The most recent example popped up in New Jersey, where students who accumulated more than $75 in student lunch debt were prohibited from attending prom or purchasing yearbooks. But this is just one example amidst many where children are often either left hungry or, as noted in a New York Times piece back in July, are punished, such as in Pennsylvania, as a school warned parents to pay outstanding lunch fees or risk their child going into foster care.
And possibly their child being removed from their home and placed into foster care for basically not providing food for their child.
Yes, really. And you may be asking, why are these school districts imposing such cruel measures to tackle school lunch debt? Well, firstly, because there's a lot of it. More than 75% of school districts reported school lunch debt in the previous school year, and 40% say their debt is growing. And as a result, what you see then is desperate attempts to pay off debt, such as a story that was shared as a feel-good story of a child saving up his allowance to pay off his classmates' debt, which was actually a tragedy. He shouldn't have to do that.
Took that email and came to Ryan and said, what do you want to do? And he said, I guess I can pay for it.
Not in a country that has more wealth aggregated in the top percent than all those below combined. But when the United States Department of Agriculture, which runs the National School Lunch Program, says its funds cannot be used to wipe out school meal debt, donations seem to be the only way people can help address this debt.
In lunch, and a kid in front of me didn't have enough money, and they had to put their tray down.
In 2018, 30 million children living in households with incomes at or below 130% of poverty line received free meals through the NSLP. But Economic Research Service found fewer kids are getting free lunch with every year that passes, and even more are denied meals because of administrative errors or the program's limitations. School lunch debt should not stand in a child's way of learning. It should not definitely be wielded as a weapon to ban kids from going to prom or to threaten them with foster care. In the majority of cases where a child accumulates lunch debt, it's because of the living situation of their family. But rather than help, the solution is to punish the poor, humiliate them. No child deserves this, and no child should go to school hungry or shamed